Welcome back to the Moretako and Connor. We're glad to have you guys with us.
I've had better.
Joe, Joe's had
Favorite
things
movie.
better. One thing that he had better, Joe, you were telling me a story and we got cut off just a little while ago. You were telling me a story about how your sister met her current husband.
Yeah. So I think I mentioned it beforehand. So I'm one of four, but my siblings are significantly older than I am. So my closest sibling is 13 years older than me, one of my sisters. So, but my older sister, when I was 3 or 4-ish, she started dating her current husband, now my brother-in-law, best man at my wedding, no big deal.
NBD.
Yeah, back then, and it was funny because when he first came around, I mentioned my I think my parents were pretty close to getting divorced at that point, or on the way out, or who the hell knows, really, honestly. But I was into movies as a kid, and it was always a free for all for me, where I was able to watch any movie. No matter what.
Without the squiggles.
Regardless of rating.
Squiggle.
No cheater box squiggles where
Yeah.
you're trying to see what's going on
Right.
behind.
Right.
You know?
No scribble vision.
Yeah.
It was a
Skinemax.
free for all. Yeah. So I remember he tells the story. I think he actually might have talked about it at his speech at my wedding. But he walks in, and I think I was watching. It was either Nightmare on Elm Street or Chucky, one of many as a child. So yeah, he's like, what the hell did I walk into? This 4-year-old child is watching Freddy Krueger cut people open on TV, and
Oh my
this
god.
kid's
You're
gonna-
making
that-
knives. like a,
this
That's
kid's gonna,
really intense.
yeah, this
That's like
kid's
a
gonna be a
leather glove
serial
on with
killer. Yeah, this kid's gonna be a serial killer when he gets older. But I'm all right. I made it. So yeah, it was
so we think.
yeah. So what? Yeah, what you guys don't know don't hurt you. But
What'd you put in that pizza?
if you start seeing some scribble vision on your own, you know what happened. But
What kind of mushrooms were there?
Oh my god.
But when I was a kid, I would say probably one of my top things I watched was Freddy Krueger, was one of my go-tos. But Child's Play was also one of my go-tos. Not the first Chucky's good. I like the second Chucky.
See, they've been so long. I don't
Wait,
know
is
which
it the
one's which.
second one?
I'm gonna tell you.
Wait, hang
never
on.
seen one.
You never seen a Child's Play?
Not one. Not one.
I don't know if it's the first or second one, but they're both really good. You've
Here's an
never
idea.
seen a Child's Play?
Punch the doll out of the room.
Can't do it, dude. He's a
I know.
savage.
I know he's possessed by the devil or some crap.
No,
like that.
he's a
Throw him in a
Charles Lee
fire.
Ray,
Throw
dude.
him
yeah,
in a
Charles
fire.
Lee Ray. He's reincarnated
Yeah,
into the
come on,
Chucky,
dude.
the good guy doll.
That
Yeah,
sounds
serial killer
sounds-
in a doll's body.
Sounds horrible.
Bro, think about it. If you think about
What
that, though,
horror movie is realistic though?
None.
yeah.
Well,
so,
very few. There are.
but if you had
genuine-
legs, you can get out of
No,
it.
there are.
Listen, I can outrun Chucky pretty quick. But
Nico's
No, you can't.
Nico's never gonna let down that the whole fact.
That's the
that-
one time I'll beat them in a race. That's my point.
it's a great
Yes,
point, too.
if you kept your legs this is from a previous episode, viewers. We debated talking about which appendages we would be willing to lose. Whatever. Nico's a legs guy,
I
and
love
he
my-
said he
I
would
love
keep
some
his legs
legs.
so he could
Yeah.
run away in horror movies. Unfortunately, my life's not a horror movie. But
But
go ahead.
yeah,
I
so
feel like
My
Child's
bad.
Play movies are great.
That's my bad.
But I guess we'll open that up then. So I was a horror movie kid, which is pretty fucked up.
But you're still kind of that way. You,
I do.
You do get into those kind of shows. You just had me watching some weird shit the other day. I don't know, some series, and it was tough to get. It was a Stephen
Yeah.
King series. What was that one?
Oh,
Outsiders or some shit. I don't
Yeah,
know.
The
House of
Outsider.
whatever.
The Outsider.
no, that was a different
I mean,
one.
it was okay.
I don't think
It was very
that
Stephen-
was Edgar Allan Poe.
It was very
Okay.
Stephen King.
Yeah,
But I mean, it wasn't bad.
Yeah.
I lost thought, like I lost interest at some point. But I stuck with it
Yeah.
because you referred it to me.
yeah. I guess scary movies are kind of
but
my
you-
go-to.
You
I
do
guess.
get into that.
Yeah,
you
there's
get into that
really-
horror
there's-
genre.
Yeah, there's probably only one
series that you don't like.
one scary movie that actually bugged me. And I don't know if it's because there was a kid related or maybe because I don't know, maybe it's things I believe in, I guess, deep down, but Insidious.
Ooh.
That movie is straight fucked. So I watched that movie.
And that's like possession, but through seance and stuff like that.
Well,
right? And it's based on
It
a
really
real life.
bends.
It's based on a real life couple who like went to the Amityville house. And
No,
all that
you're
kind of
thinking
stuff.
you're
No,
thinking
it's
The
the same-
Conjuring.
I'm thinking
The Conjuring, yeah.
I'm thinking of the
Yeah.
Same
Conjuring.
actor.
Same actor.
Same actor, but
But yeah, that's a different
Okay,
color.
Yeah.
different series.
Yeah, different
I would.
series.
I know nothing because I don't watch these movies.
Right.
But
it's about like a kid who like can
Kind of.
like slip in like another dimension type deal like while he's
Okay.
sleeping.
Okay.
And when he goes to sleep one time, he gets like real deep into that
Dimension.
Yeah, so they had to like hire some crazy lady. It's actually the chick from the chick from Kingpin. You know what I'm talking about?
That was scary in itself.
Yeah, she's not on my list, but
Not yet.
yeah, not yet. Maybe after that. Now I'm thinking about it. But
Is she your older crush?
maybe when she did that, yeah. But she plays like one of the ladies that comes in and tries to like pull the kid out of this trance or whatever the hell he's in. And like it goes on and so forth, but she can see shit that people can't see. And there's like one specific scene in that movie where she's like trying to see what's going on, and she like looks up in like the corner of this. It's honestly giving me chills just fucking talking about it. But she looks up like the
I'm
corner of
going
this
home
room.
and watching this. I don't
I
think
know.
I've ever seen it.
She goes up like the corner of this room, and like the devil or demon or whatever you want to look at, it's like up there, and it like shows, and like, dude, I'm telling you right now, it's giving me the fucking heebie-jeebies. But that movie is ridiculous, and I watched it when I used to work Saturdays. I used to work in my 1 million square foot building by myself, no one else in there at all, dead silence. I watched it in my office on my phone and like almost shit myself. And literally, like that night, I had nightmares about it. It was that scary for me. It was that scary.
How old were you?
Yesterday.
Oh, like 34. Like it
Yesterday,
wasn't,
years
yeah, it
old?
wasn't. No, not 34, but I was in my 30s probably.
Okay.
It was when we lived out here at this point. So that movie, of all scary movies, growing up in scary movies, to this day, a 37-year-old
That one's so good.
masculine man
That gives
still
you-
gives me the
Okay.
I
creeps.
can't do horror movies. I can't. I may have shared with you guys before. I'm petrified of horror movies. I don't watch horror movies. If a movie is suspenseful, and I mean like in a non-horror way, I may get into it.
Yeah.
But like I'm still traumatized from like my childhood. So you talked about being 4 years old and rocking this stuff, and they're just people who are built different. And you are one of those.
I guess.
You're built different. I was a kid, and I was first exposed to It and the TV version, the Tim Curry like TV version, and it was on WGN, and he just like ripped off the kid's arm and ate it, and I'm like,
That was after Bozo, so that really messed me up.
yeah, but dude, I was
It was
petrified.
Cookie.
I thought it lived in my basement, and I'm still mortified of clowns. I have not watched the new version of It because it seems super creepy.
So good.
Yeah, that's pretty
Um,
good. You should probably watch
They're
it.
both really good.
I mean,
actually.
I think I shared with you guys. I got invited by my friends to like sleepovers when I was like second, third grade, and I was their whooping stick. I was the one they terrorized. They'd be like, dude, we'd flip on Poltergeist for like 15 minutes because it was a stereotypical thing that people like horror movies.
Mhm.
I did not. They threw
You
on
do that at sleepovers. You're right.
yeah,
Yeah,
it was like a
100%.
thing.
Yeah.
And they're throwing on Poltergeist, and they're like, "Don't worry, it's not a big deal. Poltergeist is just outside." And
it's not here, but it's here.
My
Specifically check out the
third
cable
grade,
to fuck with them.
like I've always struggled with fear. I've also always had a little bit of fear of death, even despite my spirituality, my faith, and like I've seen a lot of movies like that, and they just creeped the trash out of me. And so I actively avoid stuff. And you've sent me a couple clips before. Now I know that you're totally messing with me, just like the kids did when they made me cry when I was in third grade. But like you sent me clips. I feel like I've seen them through you of like this new movie that's, and I say new, but it's more recent than some of those old school, like this Terrifier series. And like
that's a different type.
I
though.
haven't heard of that.
but it's so the dude's a killer, and he's a clown, and
Yeah.
he dresses up as a clown.
Art the clown.
I cannot. I'm a grown 41-year-old man, and I will not watch this stuff. Like it. I'm talking. He sent me like short clips,
Yeah. So
and I can't. I'm freaking out as a 41-year-old dude, and so I think
that's a different type of horror, though.
so horror.
That's
So
more like serial
so
killer.
when you-
like-
no, it's like
it's mutilation.
yeah,
it's
it's-
mutilation. And
Oh, it's like
it's a lot.
I- really?
in fairness, the clips you've sent me have all been safe. They've been through like I've never seen the mutilation, but I've heard that that's what it's about.
Yeah, like
You know,
like TikTok, Instagram, like
like-
reels and shit. Yeah,
Oh,
nothing
like
crazy.
and this was complicated
Lose my
because
account.
I don't want to stray too far from the path, but there are some there are things that horror directors do really, really well. And one of my favorite video games, they're making a movie of this video game that's due to come out late this summer. It's called Borderlands.
Yeah.
And if you've heard of it, these people are a little bit nuts. They're on a weird planet and crazy things happen. And Eli Roth is making this movie. And Jamie Lee Curtis is a character. Kate Blanchett's a character. Jack Black.
So some
Kevin
bangers in
Hart, like real big people, but it's a genreized sci-fi. It's got horror elements because they have psychos and stuff in there. But like, you watch these clips of like Terrifier, and Eli Roth, I was just mentioning, he's the one who made those Hostel movies.
Yeah,
and
it's that kind of. It's that.
I've never seen those movies. I don't need to because I know what they're about. And a lot of in the horror genre, what they call it torture porn. They call it like over the top mutilation and degradation of people's bodies, and like it's the Jesus loving person in me that can't handle it, but it's also like who he made me to be that can't handle it. Like I get freaked out by horror stuff.
Yeah.
But I don't understand people who love it. I don't.
But do you think that those kind of movies, because there's some sort of realism to them that makes it more scary?
A possibility.
And that's what I'm saying. Like slasher movies. Okay, Michael Myers isn't going to fucking chase me up the stairs wearing a mask from the,
he can't catch me if I'm
he
running
can't
full
take
speed.
8 bullets to the chest, get up
It's
after
not
falling out of a.
It's not real.
Yeah.
Whereas like,
but the
pure
hostile shit.
psychosis.
Yes.
So
Yeah.
I've obviously I've never seen the Hostel movies, but if you read even vaguely about them, let's take something that's a pop culture phenomenon that's coming back this year, 2024, Squid Game, and how the rich impose their will on people.
Mm-hmm.
And from what I know, again, I've never watched it. You guys may have, but those Hostel movies are about rich people taking people, punishing them, using people as their puppet, like all different kinds of crazy stuff. Is that possible? Yeah. The demonic stuff you were talking about, like Insidious, but like exorcist stuff. Like that stuff's real, So like that stuff freaks me out. But like, yes, I've grown past the kid who was afraid of Poltergeist and It, and even like a serial killer embodying a toy. Like that's stupid. So yes, there has to be some real, but it's not entertaining to me. So I wouldn't even watch that just because I'm not entertained.
Yeah, it doesn't scare you. It
doesn't scare me, but it's not entertaining.
Right.
Whereas
It's so unrealistic that you're annoyed almost.
Yes. And then there are things that are mutilation, so I wouldn't watch them because they're not entertaining. Like that's over the top grossness for grossness sake.
That's how my wife feels about the Saw movies. Like she's just like, she doesn't get into it because it's just gross.
You're
dumb.
You're blading people up to scare. That's for people. No disrespect, but who've watched horror for years and are numb to it. We talked about people getting numb to things, but then there are movies that I just find scary and would stay away from. You were talking about the Pope. You've shared with me about the Pope's Exorcist and stuff like that.
That's actually pretty.
That's something I would stay away from. Insidious. The last movie I would see, and the reason I saw it was because I knew it wouldn't cross the lines that I can't personally handle. Genuine purchased a ticket for it in the movie theater when I was in college. I saw The Ring, and The Ring,
dude. I was in high school still,
and that
I never watched 2.
Okay,
nah, lame.
Ringu or whatever.
Yeah,
and it's
the
like,
OG Ring.
It's suspenseful, and there's like jerking, scary moments,
like a jump scare.
But there's no mutilation, not like craziness, and there's heightened suspense. But I remember being a college student in the theater watching The Ring. And like holding in my pee.
Really?
Like I'm just afraid of stuff like that. Like there's nothing that I gain from those movies.
That movie gave me like a more of a
I wasn't super afraid of that one comparative.
Yeah.
But
I wouldn't say like a cop thing, but like it was a problem solving type movie. Like it was an adventure.
How do you destroy the tape or whatever?
Yeah. You had to like, get down the rabbit hole, but like them trying to figure out what happened, why is this happening? Why do you die after watching the tape? Like that kind of stuff in those movies, I don't consider them scary movies anymore. I consider them like a jump scare, suspenseful.
Somebody's more like imagination.
You're
taking a trip down somebody's imagination.
Yeah,
if you will.
And I can watch some of the stuff when it's on TV. If it's on Sci-Fi or TNT and they cut out the blood, they cut out the cussing, I can watch some of that stuff because it's like tolerable.
Yeah,
I bet you guys can guess think carefully. I'm going to give you the hint that it's the rabbit trail comes from a show we previously recorded and somebody that I had a crush on. Think of a horror series that I watched all of them, but I was not afraid, but I was there.
Of the dark.
But genuinely,
Are you
but
afraid of
I was there. I was not there for the horror. You remember who one of my childhood crushes were, and a horror series they were in.
Damn it! Was I drinking that episode?
They didn't make it. No. Here's what I'm thinking.
Who's my childhood crush?
My mind goes to Rogue, and I don't remember her
No.
being in a scary X-Men.
Human.
With Jane Seymour.
Oh, wait, hang on. Wait, no.
Are you going older woman? Jane
Seymour.
Seymour.
SMG.
Sarah Michelle Gellar.
Oh,
I know what you did last summer.
And her and Jennifer
Jinx.
Love Hewitt. Her and Jennifer Love Hewitt were in that, and I was like,
Yeah, because I was
I
going
know what
show,
I
didn't
did
go
this.
movie.
I know what I did this summer.
Yeah.
Go see this movie.
See,
Yeah.
and there's some sort of realism to that, and I agree. Like
That's
some
a great
dude,
point.
some dude in a fishing hound with
Yeah,
a hook,
there-
getting pissed.
Vendetta, yeah.
there's some sort of realism, like that shit can happen.
Yeah.
So when you get that realism, I think that creates a different sense of horror, if
Yeah.
you will, and different sense of
Makes it
scare
real.
tactic. Yeah, it makes it
real.
It makes it
Possible.
relatable, possible.
Yeah.
And I remember watching a movie in theaters, and some people don't even remember the movie. Some people never watched it. Some people don't think it's that scary. The Strangers. You guys ever see that?
I've heard
It's
of
loosely
it.
based on like the Manson murders or some
Yes,
shit.
yes. People
So-
showing up at somebody's house. Right?
Yes.
They remade it recently.
They did.
Yeah.
too.
They did.
So
Both are.
my wife and I
Like
went to
Jack.
go watch that in theater, and we looked at each other after the movie, and we said, "We're fucking buying a gun today," because just the way it hit us, and they're out in the middle of nowhere. I mean, we live out in the fucking sticks right now. Granted,
Yeah.
we have population around us; it's not that terrible, but
Yeah.
you kind of think twice. You're like, "Do I go into that house in the woods and just go into that cabin for the weekend?"
Yeah.
Somebody's watching me.
Let
Like
me-
just the realism
Dude.
about that, and people just show up and knocking, seeing a fucking mask. Because, like you said,
Yeah.
if you think you're gonna die, you better earn it.
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
better earn that death. You better
you're-
earn that kill. Because
Yeah.
I'll scratch the shit out of you.
Yeah. So I actually got a funny story. So it just reminded me. So when we first moved in our home, my wife grew up with a parent that was a freak about locking the doors, windows. Like he had double locks on his windows. And then I grew up where my mom used to leave my front door open at any time of the night, and I would just stroll in with my friends.
That was a different time, though.
yeah,
it really
but
was.
it was the same time. Like, but he
Those
was like,
were at the
yeah.
same time, but it's a different time.
Yeah,
than
yeah,
now.
yeah,
Yes.
yeah, for sure. Different now. So like I'm pretty lax about that stuff. And it's kind of a long story, but it's pretty freaking hilarious.
We're not giving away Joe's address, by the way.
Yeah. It's 1, 2, 3, 4.
I almost said 1, 2, 3.
Yeah.
ABC Road.
Yeah, ABC Road. So I used to wear contacts more often, right? And I transitioned to glasses. But at this point I was in contacts, and my glasses had no arms. Okay. So
Amazing.
Just
Were you Lawrence Fishburne in the Matrix?
yeah.
Clip.
I wish they would just stay like that. But
I would just like to say you referenced not having any arms, and you're cool with it.
oh shit. They're
Keep
kind of
going.
legs though. at the same
Proceed.
time. Anyway,
Proceed. Proceed.
so at night, obviously, I pop my contacts out, and then I would rest those on my big nose, going to bed. And then by the time I went to bed, I would take my armless glasses off and put them on my nightstand. So we had an alarm system when we first moved in our house, and
Actually
now
know this
it's
story.
it's like progressed and something different now. But we had an alarm system where all of our windows and doors were linked and all that stuff. And so it's like 2 a.m. and the alarm goes off. And my wife's freaking out. I'm like trying to wake up and figure out what's going on in my life because I was in a deep sleep. And she's like, the alarm's going off. Like, I'm trying to figure it out. I'm like, okay. So I run upstairs. I shut the kids' doors, make sure that they're good. I guess in retrospect, I should have probably just sent them to our room. Whatever. My wife stands at the top
Shut
of
the
the stairs.
doors. No one's in here.
Yeah,
Invader.
Yeah. Don't go near these doors.
You put a
The
sign on
door's
the
shut.
do
Yeah.
not enter, nobody in here.
Yeah. So I don't own any weapons, right?
Yeah,
Except-
you do.
Except for these puppies
Yeah,
right
you
here.
do.
You know what I'm saying?
The gun club.
I
Yeah.
knew you were going
Yeah.
there.
So I don't own any real weapons. And so I'm like, she's like, you got to go check the house, see what's going on. So at this point,
Are they breaking in your house
I
right
don't know.
now?
Yeah, maybe it's upstairs. If so, it's free for all.
It's very timely.
Yeah. So I referenced earlier that I'm like blind without my glasses, right? So I have my armless glasses, holding them on my face, in my boxers, nothing else, and I grabbed our metal iron. So I'm walking my
that
house.
would honestly work.
Oh, it would fuck someone up because it's heavy.
Yes.
I'm walking my house trying to find out what the hell's going on, and I'm searching my whole house in just my boxers and a metal iron with my
your other
armless
hand holding your glasses on
my
your
arm's
face.
back.
He's like the fucking Monopoly guy with like fucking
His
one
monocle.
His
Yeah.
monocle walking
Yeah.
around. He's like trying to hold it in place and an iron
Yeah.
over
Would
here.
you, would you like some Planters peanuts?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So at the end of the day, if
Even
someone
though
would
the
have,
Monopoly
if
guy
someone
doesn't
would
have
have
a
came at me,
monocle, but
I would
You're
have
toast.
screwed. He would have kicked my
All
ass.
they would have had to do is
Yeah.
flick your glasses off.
I can't see.
I win.
or cover up his eye and hit him
Yeah.
with the left hand.
It wouldn't have fared well for me. But I checked the whole house. Our basement was not finished yet at that point. But I came down here anyway, right? You got to check the storm freaking thing window. I checked everything. There's nothing going on. What happened was it was super windy, and the wind blew open my inside garage door. It was that windy outside, the old Windy City, Chicago. So that happened. This happens again, like months down the road. I have yet to replace my glasses, right? I'm still in the same boat.
He has changed 4 different security systems,
so you know.
but never his glasses.
Yeah, never my
This
glasses.
is the standard.
Priorities.
Yeah.
The same thing happens, but this time our system updated us that it was our sliding glass door, right? So we know that the wind does not blow open a sliding glass door. That is impossible.
Yeah.
So can I build on that? Your sliding glass door is awesome, by the way, because Joe is very close to his neighbors. It's super awesome. There was one time we were here. I think we were watching The Predator. Some shit. We were upstairs, and your neighbor decides to come over, trying to scare us.
Yeah.
I think it was
Yes.
Halloween or something like that.
It was.
I
I remember this because
and-
we were all here.
and
yeah.
Joe's oldest. Was it your oldest that was in the kitchen?
I think so.
Somebody was in the kitchen, and all of a sudden we're just like, "Oh, don't worry, she has it. It's all taken care of." We had no idea who was at the back door. Somebody's at the window trying to scare us. We see a shadow. We're like, whatever.
Yeah.
Somebody comes to the back door. Oh, whatever.
Yeah.
Your sliding glass door.
Then we
People just
looked
walk
right
up
at
to.
it. Yeah, you just walk
Apparently,
in. Yeah,
they could have just walked in, and his oldest would have been gone, and we'd be like, "Hold on, the movie's on.
Yeah, it is what it. We're busy.
We're busy."
Yeah.
Yeah. So,
So
your
yeah,
glass door. I mean, maybe some people come up to it and just see what you're checking out.
just to
you
test me. They're
know? Yeah,
trying
just
to test
see
me.
what's going on.
Yeah. So I ended up coming down and doing the whole shebang too, trying to figure out what the hell's going on. No arm glasses, the iron, all the good stuff. But this time we let the alarm go off long enough because it was the sliding glass door. Like we thought there was a chance that someone was in the house. So we figured obviously there's no one in here. And then we realized that it was just the batteries were low in the door sensors that caused it to go off. But then we hear it's the cops.
Well, at least they showed up though.
Yeah, 5 hours later.
but at least it worked.
Yeah, I was already back in bed by the time the cops came.
You mean the same police that stopped me for going over double yellows when I was
Yep.
nowhere near the double yellows?
Shit. Well, hold that because we're
The
gonna come
same
back to
freaking police?
that. No, it was
There's-
not. It was not that cop.
It wasn't that cop?
No.
But the same department.
But same department. But what ended up happening is apparently, so I go down. I answer the door. No arm glasses.
the monocle with boxers.
Yeah, monocles.
He still had his
And
iron
his
too.
iron.
He's
And my
got his
iron.
iron.
And the guy's
Iron.
like, "What are you doing?"
I'm Iron Man.
Yeah, yeah.
His Avengers boxers.
Yeah. So he gave me his nightstick so I could use for next time. But they ask a bunch of questions, right? They ask how's the owner of the home, blah, 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 blah. They leave. Next thing I know, I get a freaking letter in the mail that I was supposed to let the town know that we have a security system. And they charged me $150.
No shit.
Yeah,
For
for the police,
protecting-
for the call. Yeah.
Did they send it on a blue sticker?
Nah. Well, maybe. It probably came with my,
There's a
my
Uline
past due,
sticker.
my past due water bill
Yeah.
and a police
Let's-
fee.
No, here's my argument with your
Because it
past due
went
water
off.
bill. No, I was just about the water bills are not past due. You
They're
get the
not.
bill, and then immediately
They're
on this-
almost due.
in 2 weeks.
Yeah.
Okay, so because your alarm went off, they know you have a security system.
Yeah.
It sends the message to them.
Right to the fuzz.
They show up.
Yep. And I got to pay. Oh,
Salud.
my gosh. Yeah.
That looked a lot harder than what it was. Nothing.
I'm, I'm a keeper inner.
That was,
I'm a
you're
keeper
going to blow your
inner.
brains out. Yeah.
Yeah.
Go on.
Don't do that.
My mom
Don't
used to
scare
say
No,
me.
like doesn't something happen to your like system when they like hold it in or something?
Listen,
I heard you
man.
could
Doesn't it make you
yourself.
sharp?
You shit yourself for sure.
That's the real life horror movie.
Oh, shitting
Eric's
yourself,
afraid of keeping his sneeze in.
dude. Shitting yourself in public is a horror movie. Who's done it?
Yeah.
You shit yourself in public, dude?
I was just a baby boy. But yeah,
I know somebody that I worked with that used his sock because he
what? Shit in a sock?
no, wait, not in the sock. So
How do you even do that?
He
So
filled it
we're-
up and it stood vertical for some reason.
So
Yeah, he filled up and he beat the shit out of someone with it. What the fuck?
So one of my boys. So
Wait, ankle sock?
no,
Two?
it was 2 because he wears like
Boots.
6-inch boots.
Yeah. Oh
And he
my
refuses the ankle socks.
Oh my God.
How
So-
many poops can he fit in it?
Yeah.
No,
This is
a mess.
so
we're lost.
I worked in the I worked in the field for an energy company, and sometimes you can't find a bathroom, and this is
Yeah,
why I don't eat at work, because honestly, that's why I don't eat at work, because it is.
But people poop in socks. We don't eat them.
No. He didn't poop in the sock. He was pooped in the alley, and he had nothing to wipe with. So he said, "Fuck
Oh,
it."
okay.
Took his sock off.
Dude,
Wiped with a sock.
Listen.
Yeah. So here's the thing.
that's happened
But-
before.
but here's the
I thought
best-
they pooped in a sock.
Here's the best part. He called my boss and told her.
Why?
What's just
Hey.
checking in, wiping my butt with a sock?
Yeah, hey.
I don't get it.
I just had to
No,
take a
he said
dump
he had to
somewhere.
go home because he said he had an incident,
Okay.
and he let her know a little bit too much.
Why wouldn't you just say you're puking?
That's what I said.
Like,
You didn't have to tell her the whole
he's
sock.
like,
deal.
hey, listen to this.
But here's the best part.
Got
That's not the
any
first.
spare socks.
But that's not the only time it happened to him. He's also used a plain white T-shirt that wasn't plain white after.
Oh my god.
Hey there,
Hey,
Delilah.
He is
Yeah.
and he's my boy, so I won't drop his name, and he knows I'm talking about him.
Frederick.
Oh yeah.
And he's gonna yell at me when I see him.
Yeah.
which is super
Drop
awesome.
a poop emoji
But-
on this one, please.
But the but the best part is, I do mess with him a lot. It's,
Listen,
I mean,
I
shitting in public is kind of.
That's bad. I heard nothing you said after you said he shit in a sock, but
He didn't shit in the
Because
sock.
I know.
honestly, that's a great story.
I wish he
but
did.
then
I
I,
wish-
do too.
I actually kind of want to ask him. I'm like, did you shit in the sock? Because I want to know details now. Because he said he used it.
I have
I
a
don't know the
story.
details on how he actually used it. He may have shit in the sock.
could have.
I have a story
You're right. I'm gonna ask.
that is 100%.
I think he's on
not
vacation right
appropriate
now.
for our
I hope you're
pod,
listening.
So I'm not sharing it, but I'm going to tell you guys off camera because it involves everything that Nico just talked about.
Oh
Hey
my
John,
God.
can you record that for me?
But
back then? I want to get that
I
on
love
camera.
it. Okay,
Secret
So-
record.
so we've heard some types of horror from you. More, honestly, that's a dangerous, hostile-ish situation
kinda
for
is.
you guys. But do you drift more to Joe's wing, horror enjoyer? It sounds like he's recommended some movies and you watch them, and I get freaked out when he sends me a meme. And or do you lean towards my end where like horror, the genre's not for you? Where do you lie?
I'm an action guy. Just give me terrible acting, pure explosion, pure
Yeah.
entertainment, just guy shit.
Yeah.
And I just lean towards anything Arnold.
But will you watch horror movies?
Well, that's what I'm saying. Like, it doesn't
So if it's
get
an
me.
actual horror.
You wanna
It,
hear-
it doesn't really.
Arnold
get
was
me.
in a horror movie.
Predator is technically a horror.
No, are you? I mean, yeah.
End of
End
Days.
of days.
End of
I knew
Days.
we were going with that.
End
So,
of
and
Days.
that's what I'm saying. Like, but there was some action involved in that.
He's a
It-
fucking choir boy compared to me.
Well, and that's what I'm saying. If you give me some action in there, cool. Like, but you get that long, suspenseful, like, what is that? Angels and Demons. What's the other one? What's the prequel to that one?
Da Vinci Code.
Da Vinci
Yeah, Da
Code.
Vinci
You
Code.
give me that. Like, it's good, but sometimes I just don't want to sit there and think and
yeah, my
take
brain
notes.
is.
And-
Dude,
I mean, they're,
I love thinking
Well, and
movies though.
but I-
Sometimes you gotta be in the mood.
you got to be
sometimes.
in the mood. But I don't want to give 3 hours of thinking.
Yeah,
Well, I barely like to give an hour of thinking
that's
sometimes.
in
But
depth.
that's what I'm saying. Like, if I don't want to have to be fucking Sherlock Holmes about it.
I love Sherlock Holmes,
Oh,
and
damn.
see that's
No,
very
but that's
interesting
what I'm
because
saying.
I'm in
Does
a
he have a
different
monocle
genre.
or no?
Depends.
So there's a serial
A
killer movie.
monocular.
There's a serial
Your
killer
boy could
movie,
have used some depends. That's
which
for sure.
is in, I guess you'd call it in the horror suspense genre that I loved, called Identity with John Cusack.
I did like that one.
I love that movie, and
but that's
and
like a quick hitter, though.
it is.
it's
but,
shorter,
But you're solving something. I love the movie Basic with
I did like that one
John
too.
Travolta. Is
Yes.
Samuel L. Jackson in that too?
Yes, and I believe that it's
think
the
that's-
military one.
I think
the
that's-
military one.
That's
And
Snakes
they're-
on a Plane, I think.
That's a different type
not
of horror movie.
not
Different
airplane.
type of horror
Snakes
movie.
on a plane. I'm done with these motherfucking snakes on this motherfucking plane.
So crazy. It's just interesting. I tend to be an action guy too. I like mysteries.
I want
but it's
enough
like-
action to keep my interest though. Like
Yeah.
if it's too long and boring, like I lose interest, and I blame
But
I
it's
blame
so-
social media on that shit because
For
our
sure.
attention span is so
for sure.
short
But
now.
it's
Yeah,
so
for sure.
interesting. Like growing up, coming back to the story that you began with, like when you're a kid, like exposing yourself to that. And did you grow up with like nightmares and stuff? Like you were watching that kind of stuff when you were you said you were 3 and 4 years old, and your brother-in-law's like, "What are you doing?" I would have been like, "What are you doing?"
Yeah, I slept in my mom's room until I was 8.
Okay.
And then when I was 8 years old, my dad bought me a TV from my room, and I didn't watch horror movies while I was like going to sleep.
That would be a questionable choice.
The fact that the TV was on, whatever I was watching, could be
horror
anything.
was on WGN late at night.
But I didn't watch
Easily
any of that stuff.
accessible.
Going to bed, that was not my go-to. Honestly, I couldn't even tell you anything I watched going to bed. It was literally just to have it on to go to sleep, which is, to this day, 37 years old. So, whatever, 21 years ago, I do that now. Like, I watch TV. I don't even watch TV.
You know, I'll build on that because my cousin would kick my ass if she's listening to this episode and because she and I used to watch scary shit together, but it wasn't like movies. We watched Ghost Adventures, Ghost Hunters, shit like that. I mean, I remember, and you're gonna look down upon this because just how you are and your background. People in our house, they used to use like the Ouija board, and they used to do all of that kind of shit. And we used to watch scary shit like all the time. And I wasn't into it like they were, but because I didn't want to be that dork that was left out, I was like, I'm going to watch it.
Pressure action.
Yeah. And I was like, I'm not going to be a pussy about it. And I'm going to watch it. And then I grew to like it, but it didn't scare me. It was more of you grew numb to it. But my cousin and I, we'll watch Ghost Adventures, and I'll watch it at night. Like my wife will come downstairs sometimes, and I'm watching stupid Ghost Adventures. She goes, "You watching this shit again?" Yeah, I am. Because it doesn't scare me. I'm more intrigued by the story behind it.
Yeah.
I'm more intrigued by, ooh, it's haunted. Why is it haunted?
Yeah.
Is this stuff is it real? I want to know that, we caught this on camera. I want to debunk that. I don't think it's real, but I'm intrigued by it, but I'm not scared by it. So my cousin and I used to live in my mom's basement. We would turn off all the lights, and she'd come over and be like, let's just watch marathons of Ghost Adventures. Watch marathons of scary movies. We just did it.
Yeah.
It just didn't scare me, though.
So
I wasn't into it, but I wasn't not into it.
Right.
It didn't get me going, if you will.
Gross. Do you guys
not like that, you weirdo?
Some like it.
I don't know. This isn't like a House of 1,000 Corpses.
I know what you fell asleep to.
What?
When you were a kid. Based on the fan scene and your love of fans, Leprechaun.
Ooh. Leprechaun's Jennifer Aniston.
But and they
not the one where he's in the ghetto, right? Isn't there like one where
there's Leprechaun in space and all different kinds of stuff.
Yeah,
Leprechaun
in the hood. That was horrible.
Yeah.
But Joe loves sleeping with fans blasting.
Yeah, has to.
So Leprechaun.
Yeah.
Wait, even in the winter. I'm talking about.
So in like the winter.
Oh, all the time.
Like, you have to. Is it the white noise that gets you?
No, it's
both. It's both for sure.
It's temperature because I just opened a window. We live in fucking Chicago, dude.
No, I need the noise
too. It's like
too.
7 degrees outside. 8 months of the year.
We brought a fan with us to Mexico, and we left it there. Like we brought it with us.
You also did it in Florida too.
No,
you did it in Florida too.
Yeah,
because we drove down, and you're like, "Can you take this back with you?"
Yeah, everywhere. We don't mess around with that stuff. But I want to get back to this. Is probably gonna go. This is gonna go longer than the time limit that we have, but I have more to dig into here. Do you believe? No.
Do you
my list is over there.
Life after love?
I almost went there, but that was your turn. I'm not saying.
Yeah. Do you guys believe in ghosts?
That's an easy question for me. I do not.
You do. I know you don't.
I do not. I believe in angels and demons and the spiritual realm, and I do not believe that there's an in between. I believe when you pass on, heaven, hell. That's a wrap. Ghosts, like not knowing where you go, and I'm chilling in limbo and doing this and that. I don't think that that's real at all.
Okay.
But I do think that some of the interactions that may happen here on Earth can be spiritual realm issues, like a demonic attack or an angelic presence or something like that.
So would you consider?
I don't think they care about the lamp, though. I just
so would you
like
consider
the genie in the lamp?
Yeah.
That too.
Will Smith or Robin Williams? But would you consider like a demon a ghost?
No,
they're different.
Totally different.
I believe
was a demon.
I agree that they are different.
A demon was never
a spirit.
Okay. Demons and angels were never humans.
Okay, so
totally different species, for lack of a better term.
I do like that term.
Okay.
That puts it in perspective.
But like a spiritual species.
Yeah, that makes sense. Okay.
So I don't.
I kind of okay. So I have two things. One, I think you and I are going to touch base on this. This is going to be one of our debating things. Because I'm science and all that, and so
future segment.
Yeah, what's
And
future segment?
he's got years of ghost adventures and ghost hunters arsenal that he can bust out.
So we'll get into that. As far as now, I'm more of I'm not a Scientologist. Don't say that shit.
Oh,
But I'm more of a Darwinism kind of guy.
Ramini investigated Nico.
yeah.
I'm more of one of those types of guys where, okay, so we're taught in school, energy cannot be created nor destroyed. They say that your soul and who you are, that's energy, right? So when we die, if energy cannot be created nor destroyed, where does
Is
your
your soul measurable energy?
Well, that's what I'm saying. So does your energy? I mean, nobody knows what happens after you die. I mean, nobody can report back on it.
Correct.
So what happens? Does your
Well,
energy?
people have had near-death experiences.
And that's what I'm saying. Like, do we believe in that? Do we? There's a lot of stuff that we can't talk about, right? So
Sure.
what I'm getting at is
super deep stuff.
Yeah. So I guess what I'm getting at is if I believe that energy is energy. I also work in the energy industry, so I'm also torn by that. But also, energy cannot be created nor destroyed. So therefore, when we die, that our bodies and our souls and everything among us is some form of energy.
Yeah.
It doesn't just disappear. So is it caught back on here? I'm not saying we're ghosts. Do I believe in reincarnation? Do I believe it? Do I believe that is there a heaven and a hell? All I know is that it does not leave where we're at. I believe that it cannot be created nor destroyed. I think it's not refurbished, but more of a reincarnation.
Damn,
I almost believe in that.
I have a lot of questions.
And that's
I
what I'm
never
saying.
thought of it like that.
And that's what I'm saying. That's where I go towards the, with God and religion and science, that some people believe those are very different.
I don't think they're different. Yeah.
Some people do, depending on what church you're a part of.
You're different in that
Yes,
standpoint.
you are different in that sense because
Yeah.
when my daughter was going through her CCD classes, if you will, if she was going through her classes, her pastor, because my wife and my children are Lutheran based, when she was going through her classes and trying to be confirmed, he was very upfront on not believing in the universe and the galaxy. Everything was
What do you
created
mean not believing in the universe?
that everything was created by God.
I don't. Okay,
Everything
but,
is created by-
Okay, but what?
And Earth is created by God. So you are not allowed to believe in horoscopes. So you're not allowed to believe everything in the universe. You're not allowed to believe the universal energy.
Oh, you're talking about like universalism
yes.
and kind of like astrology and
Yes.
stuff like
Yes.
that.
Yes.
Okay.
So
I thought you were like the
No,
dude
no, no.
believes in God, but there's no universe.
No,
Yeah,
no,
yeah.
and
no,
God certainly didn't make
No, no,
it.
no,
'Cause
no.
then I'd be super
no,
confused.
no. I'm gonna build on that. He doesn't believe in other galaxy and universes. That we are the only one that was created by God, and we're the only ones out there. He doesn't believe in aliens. He doesn't believe in other life forms out there.
We're getting it.
Okay, but
John, keep us from.
So
We're getting into
that's what I'm
aliens
saying. That's what I'm
today.
saying.
we're not going to go super deep.
We're getting into aliens.
We
But
will.
I wanna-
We
but I-
will.
but
We're
I wanna
doing
be
it.
very. I want to be very clear. Like
Get real deep. Like
those are very different things. So like
They are, and that's what I'm saying.
believing
You
in a
can't believe
different
both if
galaxy
you
and
believe in one or
believing
the
in
other, right?
aliens are different things.
you
What's
believe
that?
in aliens?
I
You
do
believe in
not.
aliens.
You
I
don't?
I do not.
What?
I do not.
Really?
I do not. But I do believe.
Keep it rolling, John.
This
So-
is gonna be a long
so
night.
keep
John, if
it
you gotta go
rolling.
home, just leave
So
your phone.
here's the thing. Here's the thing. What I would give space for, so in discussion of spirituality, faith, science, the blending, because I believe it's a blending. You and I do share that in common.
Mhm.
That I don't think I'm not so ignorant to think and say that I know all things.
Well,
But
yeah.
I say that in a faith-based thing, and I say that in a science-based thing. So, do I leave the possibility for other life forms? I do. I don't currently believe in it because we don't have any evidence of that existence. So,
do we?
but that's why you were talking about this guy. And again, I don't want to
Yeah.
quote him because I didn't hear what
Yeah,
he said.
because
And I don't whatever.
and mine is
But, like,
secondhand too, so I don't know exactly
think,
the words. This is
I think
teenager.
when you break that down into multiple different levels, like I don't believe in a universe, I don't believe in galaxies, I don't believe in aliens, like that's different things. So I happen to know somebody who I love and care about.
I thought he was gonna say an alien.
No, I happen to know somebody who I love and care about who doesn't believe in dinosaurs, and so
It's true. It is very
It is
true.
very
And
true,
so-
and that offends all of
and
us.
so
yeah, she's
and
out of
so
control.
you can take a breakdown like that, and I'm just using
Yes.
this as we'll get into that someday, I'm
yeah,
sure.
yeah.
But
tomorrow,
into
Yeah,
the tangibility
note it.
of it, like you can say, I don't believe in lizards, I don't believe in reptiles, I don't believe in chickens, and I don't believe in dinosaurs. And all of those things are actually genreized together because a lot of people A lot of scientists believe that actually a descendant of dinosaurs is actually birds, not reptiles at all.
They link a
Right.
raptor to the bird.
So
Yeah.
just kind of getting into that kind of stuff. Like when you talk about that, like believing in the universe or not believing in the universe, not believing in galaxies, not believing in aliens, I don't think that those are mutually exclusive things. I think that you can have belief in some of those things and not believe in other aspects of those things. And it really determine like,
Yeah,
cool.
I would agree.
I haven't, like, if I look up into the sky, and this is one of the things that
You see Starlink.
I really stand upon as, so my faith in Jesus Christ, my faith as a Christian, it's everything that I am. But I also believe that we live in a faith-based culture, whether people want to acknowledge it or not. I have faith that there's some form of nutrition in this, or that it's going to make me feel good. I have faith in the scientific premises that I'm looking at. Like I'm gonna, and we don't need to go down this rabbit hole, but I'm gonna use this as an example to connect to astrology, and this kind of stuff was mentioned, right? We talked, this originally started with ghosts. Somebody who looks into the Hubble telescope, a magnificent piece of scientific discovery that shoots off into deep space, and they see blank nebula, blank galaxy, whatever, with stark imagery and detailing that we could not possibly fathom. They are putting their belief in that telescope that it is functioning properly, working correctly, magnifying the image to the right way, etc., etc. They're putting faith in something. It happens to be something man created, a telescope that uses lenses, blah, 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 blah. The people who walk into those ghost hunters' houses, they're putting faith in the word. This is because I've glanced at a few of those episodes. Beyond that, they're putting the Amityville Horror, and you were talking about the Conjuring people, and I forget the name of the husband and wife who did that stuff, but
yeah,
they put
the
faith.
People.
And there's documentaries on those people, because I love documentaries, and it's like they were putting faith in the people who claimed they saw blank.
Mm-hmm.
I could see that guitar over there fall off the wall and believe to the core of who I am,
100%
blank, but I don't know. That's a faith-based thing, and then somebody else is believing in my faith or believing in this tool or believing in this or that, and we end up finding out years later those Conjuring people were total manipulators who were stealing people's money and doing all this kind of stuff, creating an economy for themselves, right? So we end up back at this place. There are people who will believe things without evidence. Mm-hmm. There are people who need an amount of evidence to believe things. And then there's the level to which, if you have so much evidence, I would argue that there's never going to be enough, because the reality is you never know. We just don't know. There's some things you just don't know. And that's where the term, but also it can become a belief, the term faith comes in. Like, we don't know that our wives are going to be loyal to us for the rest of our lives when we walk to that altar. We don't know. And they don't know either. But we have a bond. We have a certain number of years together, certain number of relationship, whatever. We have past experience that creates these things for us.
And I'll argue even with that idea is that, as far as God and creator of heaven and the earth and pulling science and universe and God all together, because you are very unique in that aspect. Some people believe in one or the other. They usually don't believe in both.
If there's a God, he made science.
Well, and that's kind of my argument.
And there is God.
And that's what I'm saying is that, do you think, and because God does believe in science and he does believe creating us in his likeness, right? Do you think that he created just us and he knows that he perfected it? Or did he create more than one of us and more Earths in different universes? That's where my mind goes.
Yeah.
I don't think he perfected our universe, the Milky Way galaxy, if you will. And that's when you start to see other galaxies way off in, wherever.
Yeah, bazillion light years away.
That's what I'm saying. So I believe that God has created more than just one Earth, more than one species of human. And that's where, if we want to call them aliens, I think it's possible. There's no way he perfected it with us.
Yeah.
No way.
Yeah.
Well,
He or she, however you look at God.
I agree with you.
No way.
He didn't perfect it with us, and that's the point.
And that's what I'm saying. And that's
But
why
that's a little
and
bit.
that's why
that's something for another day.
and that's
Yeah.
why I'm saying that. And
'Cause
that's
that's
why I
deeper.
believe there's other beings out there. We're
Okay.
not the only beings out there.
Yeah.
I
would
truly believe there's more.
I would agree.
Not necessarily aliens, but more.
Yeah, I mean, I think I know I posed the question earlier about believing in aliens. I 100% believe in aliens. Personally, I don't think it has anything to do with God or faith. I just like don't. I guess like if you like root cause it, I guess so. Right? If God created everything, obviously that was part of his creation as well, right? But like it's just there's just so much. Like space is just so much.
Almost like the Big Bang Theory.
Yeah.
Like if you want to throw that in there.
Yeah, I mean, like personally, to think that we are the only thing out there, I don't know, right? And I don't know if you guys have. I know you and I talked about this right before we actually pulled the trigger on everything for this podcast. It was it's that documentary. I forget the guy's name that did it.
There were two guys.
Yeah, but it's on Bob Lazar. He's a individual that worked in like an area or a sector of Area 51
okay.
where he worked on like alien spacecrafts, right?
He will change your mind about a lot of things.
Yeah, if you spend the time to honestly, you don't even need to watch it. You can just listen to it.
And you don't even have to believe him. Just listen to his story.
Yeah.
Because it will open up your idea.
Yeah.
If you will.
Yeah. So the dude, I'll give a quick like
synopsis.
Yeah, of the doc. He worked for this sector. He thought stuff was going shady. So he quit working for the sector, and then he came out publicly in like the 70s with all of these details about what he worked.
That was paranormal activity.
Yeah. About what he worked on, right? And the what he worked on was reverse engineering a UFO, or I think they call them a UAP now.
UAP,
Okay,
yeah, fancy. It's fucking.
What is that? What does that stand for?
I don't know. Clinton
Unidentified.
I'm kidding.
alien
I'm kidding.
person or
Alien penis, I think it is. But he
Ugly alien
I know
penis?
that's not
Yeah,
real.
yeah,
An ugly alien penis.
alien PP. But he talked about reverse engineering, and they actually like developed a new. I don't think developed, but they came up with a new element like for the periodic table while doing all this reverse engineering. And when
It's
he
probably
quit,
one of those ubiquitous ones, those down at the bottom.
Yeah.
that nobody ever.
Yeah,
really
We can
sees.
totally
There
make
aren't
another episode
natural
out of it
Yeah.
because I can
It's-
build on that. Let's remember that for another time. I'm going to build on that one, but keep going with what
yeah,
you're
yeah,
saying.
it's like basically the element that helps with this like propulsion system that he talks through.
Mhm.
About being able to and if you guys have seen like what they talk about for like UFOs, the way that they move, it's not like a normal engine, how they're able to like go all the places.
They can go vertical, they can
Yeah.
go horizontal, like just
Yeah. And it's all about like how like the propulsion system works, and like it's based off of gravity and like all this other stuff, right? Stuff beyond my comprehension. But he's rumored to have stolen that element that they had at that sector. I can't remember what the hell it's called. It pisses me off. I can't remember. But so the dude that does a documentary, gets with them, does all this stuff, right? Currently, Bob Lazar works in like his own lab. He's a genius. The dude's so smart. And he works for this current lab. And he does this documentary, and while they're filming it, they like literally go in the middle of the woods, in the middle of nothing, and he talks to. I don't think they even filmed what he talked about, but he talks about certain things that he found while he was there. Literally, I think in specific to that element, literally the next day, the government is raiding his lab, looking for this element because he mentioned it literally the day before. So they obviously got this guy bugged or whatever.
And he flat out admitted that once you are part of this program,
Yeah.
you have no privacy.
Yeah.
So you are signing your life away, and that's your wife, that's your children.
Yeah.
They bug everything to make sure that nobody is listening and nobody knows what you know.
They basically have tried to ruin this guy's life. And when he first came out in the 70s, like I think he went to like MIT.
They took him from MIT.
Yeah, they like removed him from graduating from MIT.
Mm-hmm.
They
to get him working right away.
Well, they basically like no, they like erased his identity.
Wow.
They tried to like completely sabotage this dude's life.
And they have different sectors, and I don't mean to jump on that, but they have different sectors of Area 51, and where he wasn't technically Area 51, like you said.
Yeah, John, can you look that up? Look up
but
Bob Lazar. Where the hell Bob Lazar worked?
He was a part of, like, he was near it, but they they divided everybody up, so they didn't know what
Sectors,
each other, different sectors, but they didn't know what each other was working on. They weren't allowed to know who was working on this and who was working on that. You were given one task.
Yeah.
And you need to reverse engineer this one task because they didn't want somebody to know everything that was going on. So he was involved in this and he put it together. He was inside the UAP UFO.
Yeah.
And he was describing how small it was inside and how he had to sit on the ground and how whomever was controlling this craft was so
Small.
tiny in comparison to us.
Like 4 feet.
Like 4 feet.
Yeah.
And he said that he had to sit down in order to be just fit in it.
Yeah.
And my mind went to kind of think they say like us looking down at our phones and our technology that over the years and generations we are shrinking. So that's where my mind goes to. There's somewhere out there. There is a world. There is a planet who's more advanced than us technology wise. That they may have once been like us.
100%. That's my belief.
And over years, they have naturally shortened in size because technology, the way that they're living their lives, we're on that trajectory, if you will. And they have figured out a way to get here. And I think that that's where Joe is going with it, is that there's something else out there.
Yeah.
There's something else that is maybe smarter than us.
S4?
But was there you go.
S4. Thanks, John.
And there's something like us out there, more advanced, but we are going down that road.
Yeah.
And eventually we'll get there, but we're not alone.
Yeah, I definitely. I think when people like think aliens, I think maybe I'm
fucking
being
goofy as Independence Day shit.
Yeah, and I think too, like we think, oh well, they're like on freaking Mars, just like hanging out. Like, no, that's
touched base on my other episode, so
yeah,
welcome back.
So that's, in my opinion, that's not the case. Like they are legitimate light years away, and
just
they
figured out how to get here,
and they have found a way to get here because they're so far advanced.
You guys are going
to
love. You guys are going to love, and I think we should probably wrap on this.
Yeah,
you guys are going to love a television show that comes out in March called The Three Body Problem. It was written by a Chinese author, I believe Xin Liu. I could be mispronouncing that. I apologize. And it's about how there are aliens in a distant universe or distant galaxy that are coming, and they start giving insight to people through mental connections, whatever, preparing them thousands of years ahead of time for their arrival on Earth, and how those people across generations prepare for the arrival. And it's coming to Netflix, and it's made by the guys who made Game of Thrones.
I'm in.
And it's got lots of great actors. We'll check that out.
Yeah.
Is Emily Clark in it?
I don't know, but maybe.
I'll definitely get in.
We're going to tell you right now, thank you guys for joining us. You were with us for a long episode. We rocked horror and mutilation,
ghosts,
aliens,
space,
spirituality, everything. You know, when you tune in with us, you're going to get 3 different opinions, in-depth stuff, rocking it, always respecting each other. We hope you guys check in, comment below, let us know what you think. Where do you stand? What are some things you'd like to hear us talk about on these issues? Because we're coming back to them. We're coming back.
Yes, sir.
Oh yeah.
All right, guys. Thanks for joining us at the Moretako Encounter. We'll see you next time.